This is the 16th community meeting for the Benton County Riparian and Wetlands Project. And I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I'm sorry?
Could you use the microphone?
Okay, sure. Thank you. I was going to ask if I needed that better. Okay. Sorry. I'll touch it. All right. My name is Greg Verrett. I'm the Community Development Director for Benton County. And also here tonight from Benton County are Kristen Anderson, who is in the planning department, and Julie Ryden, who is an intern graduate student at Oregon State University, and Adam Stebbins, who is the project coordinator for this project. And I'm going to apologize in advance. We're experiencing some technical difficulties with the computer system, so an opportunity for you folks to give us input on some of the detailed code language that's in the latest draft of the proposal. We've had a lot of meetings and discussions. As I mentioned, this is the 16th community meeting that we've had on this project and on the concepts around riparian and wetlands and their management. We've also had 2 years now of monthly meetings of our riparian and wetlands advisory group, which are public meetings, and we have citizens attending those as well. We've heard from a lot of people, and we've heard from folks who don't want any regulatory code adopted, and we hear that, we understand that, and an option that's going to be presented, of course, to the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners is that they not adopt anything. The main purpose of tonight's meeting, though, is to get your input on how we can improve the draft of code that we do propose to the Board of County Commissioners, so that they have an option that is viable, and if they choose to adopt a code, that it does meet our goals, project goals, which are to develop a land use program to protect and improve water quality, fish habitat, wildlife habitat, and other values of riparian areas in a way that preserves the flexibility that property owners desire. We understand that property owners value streams, waterways, riparian areas, lakes, all of those things, and that many property owners are excellent stewards of the land. We don't want to get in the way of that. At the same time, we are facing mandates from the state. We are facing declines in fish populations. We're facing water quality that doesn't meet certain standards. And so we are under, honestly, a lot of pressure to develop a regulatory baseline. Not something that's, going to require everybody to turn their property into a park, but we need to establish a baseline so that people who do a good job their efforts aren't undermined by somebody else degrading the system downstream or upstream. So, as I've said, we've had a lot of discussions with the public. We're continuing those. Folks who don't want any code, folks who like a strict code, folks who want any variety of things, and that's what we want to hear tonight, is some more of the details of how we can improve the code. So, I want to make clear a couple of things that this project will not result in. It's not going to affect farming and forestry. I'm sorry for those of you who have been to these meetings before, you've heard this. This will not affect farm uses or forestry. This will not apply inside cities or inside their urban growth boundaries. It will not result in the government taking anybody's private property. That's a basic principle that we work on. It will not allow public access to somebody's private property. And it won't affect existing structures or uses of your land. I'd like to pause here and get a show of hands just to get a sense of who is in the audience tonight. How many of you, is this your first meeting of these riparian projects? Okay, so a good number. How many of you are residents of the Willamette Basin? Okay. And so how many of you are residents of the ALC base? Right? Okay, good. Anybody from any other base? Okay, great. Thanks. Okay. And just query, how many of you have had an opportunity to review the latest code draft? We mailed out to a number of people who emailed that. Okay. Okay, good. Good, thanks. All right, so then briefly some logistics before we get into the rest of what we're going to do tonight. One is that the library, I understand, closes at 8 o'clock, and that doesn't affect us unless you parked in the garage, and the garage closes at 8 o'clock too, so I'm sure to get your car out of there if it's in there. What we're planning for an order of proceedings tonight, again, this is slightly dependent on getting the technology to work. Adam Stebbins is planning to give an overview presentation just to bring everybody up to speed, especially for the folks who this is your first meeting. Try and keep that brief, but get everybody understanding where we are in the project. And then we want to give a chance for people to give, like I said, focused input, particularly on the 4 different options that are described in the code, the latest draft of those, and we'll go over those again to refresh people's memory, or if you haven't had a chance to review it. But we want to pass around sign-up commissioners, so 2 sets of public hearings will happen, and the Board of County Commissioners makes the final decision on whether to adopt a program and in what form. And okay. Good timing. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Adam, and some folks have requested using the microphone, but you don't have to stand real close.
It's pretty loud.
It's yeah. All right, thanks.
That is a hot mic. Well, I think we got over the as quickly as I can. I don't know if Greg did a show of hands. I'm sure most of you have seen some of the inventory data that I've shared at past meetings.
I'll recap. There were a number of people who said this is their first meeting.
Okay.
There's at least 50% I've never seen any of the paperwork.
Okay.
Just a heads up.
Great. So I'll go through the inventory, and as time permits, we'll get into some of the details that I think are helpful, especially folks that are just coming into understanding and hearing about the project. However, if you want more details or specific things that I don't cover, get some more information, just give me a call or email me, visit online on the project website, so we can get you taken care of. Just a quick overview here. Now it's frozen. I'm just going to do background overview of the work